Welcome to Trending Docket. I'm your host, Michelle. Today we step into a case that shatters the heart, a tale of love found, love lost, and a darkness that refused to fade. Please remember, everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. On December 30th, 2025, in the quiet Wineland Park neighborhood of Columbus, Ohio, two vibrant, loving individuals, Spencer and Monique Tepe, were gunned down in their own home while their two young children slept in the other room. The prime suspect? Monique's ex-husband, Michael David McKee, a surgeon whose obsession turned deadly. This is the story of the Tepe murders, a double homicide that exposes the terrifying grip of domestic abuse. Stay with us as we unravel what we know so far. To understand the profound loss, we must first know Spencer and Monique Tepe, not as victims, but as the extraordinary people they were. Spencer Tepe was 37 years old, a dedicated dentist with a practice in Columbus. He was also part of the Big Brother program, which he loved. Spencer stood about 6 feet tall with a warm smile, short brown hair, and kind eyes that lit up when he talked about his family. Born and raised in Ohio, Spencer was known among friends for his unwavering integrity and gentle strength. Monique Tepe, 39, was equally remarkable. She loved working with children, receiving her degree in early childhood education. Monique was a stay-at-home mom to her two small kids. Her family said, quote, "She was loving, patient, and a joyful mother whose warmth defined her," end quote. She had brown hair, striking eyes, and a petite frame that belied her fierce spirit. The couple married on December 13th, 2020, later celebrating with their family and friends on January 31st, 2021, with a ceremony. During their vows, Monique talked about bad bumble dates and wrong relationships that led her to Spencer. They both gushed about each other in their vows and were excited for their life ahead. By all accounts, their life was a picture of happiness in their cozy home on the 1400 block of North 4th Street in Wineland Park, a family-friendly enclave just north of downtown Columbus. They had two little ones, a 4-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy, toddlers who filled their days with laughter. Friends described them as soulmates. One close friend told local reporters, quote, "They were so deeply in love. Spencer was Monique's rock, and she brought out his playful side. Their home was always buzzing with joy." But Monique's past was a dark cloud. Before Spencer, she was married to Michael David McKee. Back in 2015, they were only married for 7 months before Monique moved out and later filed for divorce in 2017. The union, marked by incompatibility on paper, hid a nightmare of abuse that would eventually spill over into tragedy. Monique had hoped to leave it all behind, building a new life in Ohio with Spencer. On the chilling morning of December 30th, 2025, in the pre-dawn hours between 2 and 5 a.m., is when the horror reached its height in the Tepe home. Monique and Spencer were likely asleep or just stirring when an intruder slipped in silently, armed with a large caliber handgun, equipped with a silencer to muffle the noise. The attack was brutal and close range, suggesting an ambush that caught them off guard. Franklin County coroner's autopsies painted a gruesome picture. Spencer suffered 7 gunshot wounds to his left ear, neck, upper and lower chest, hand, upper back, and right arm. Defensive wounds on his hand hinting he fought back desperately to protect his family. Monique endured 9 shots, 1 to her right cheek, 3 to the right chest, torso, forearm, hand, and 2 to the left upper arm. That's 16 shots total, consistent with emptying a full handgun magazine in a frenzy of rage. The morning timeline is chaotic and frustrating, with many 911 calls from concerned colleagues and friends. The first 911 call came in at 8:58 a.m. from Dr. Mark Valrose, stating that Spencer did not show up to work, and that was unlike him. Dr. Valrose was in Florida, so he was not able to check on him and wanted police to do a welfare check to make sure he was okay. At 9:22 a.m., an officer went out to the home, but no one answered, so he left. 30 minutes later, Spencer's colleague and friends show up. They also got no answer. At 9:56 a.m., they called 911 again, telling them they are at the house and no one is answering, but they can hear the kids crying inside. He told them that he was going to get into the house and hangs up. 2 minutes later, another 911 call comes in from yet another concerned colleague, stating he has not been able to reach Spencer or Monique in the last 3 hours, and that was not normal. At 10:03 a.m., the friend at the home calls 911 again and tells them, quote, "There's a body," end quote. Finally, at 10:04 a.m., police were dispatched to the home, and sadly, at 10:11 a.m., the responding medical team pronounced both of them deceased. Miraculously, their children, ages 1 and 4, were unharmed, as well as the family dog. They were found safe in another room, oblivious to the nightmare. Imagine the parents' final thoughts, fearing for themselves and their children. The thought is unimaginable, especially having children of my own. The investigation started right away. The first piece of crucial evidence was a video of a man walking away from the home in the early hours the morning of the murders. The case was cracked wide open not long after, with the persistence by the Columbus Police Homicide Unit. At the center, Michael David McKee, 39, a vascular surgeon at a Rockford, Illinois hospital over 450 miles away. McKee is tall, has light-colored hair, sharp features, and a commanding 6'2" presence. McKee was Monique's ex-husband, their marriage dissolving amid allegations of physical and mental abuse. Monique had reported choking incidents, forced sex, and chilling death threats to her family and friends, but they feel like there was way more she did not tell them. According to a close friend, McKee once boasted, "I could kill her at any time. I could buy the house next to her. She will always be my wife," end quote. Post-divorce, the stalking escalated, even after almost 10 years have passed. On December 6, 2025, while Spencer and Monique attended a Columbus Clippers baseball game, Monique left early, visibly upset. Later, the detectives would say, she saw security video that captured McKee breaking into their home, prowling like a predator. Key evidence started to pile up. His silver SUV, sporting stolen Ohio and Arizona plates, was spotted on surveillance video, arriving in Columbus right before the murders and fleeing shortly after. The vehicle would be found on January 9th, 2026, in McKee's hospital parking lot. The police mentioned that McKee had left his cell phone at work before the 450-mile drive to Columbus, possibly a way to make it look like he was at work all day, for an alibi, or to keep them from tracing his movements. Ballistics later linked the murder weapon, a silenced large-caliber handgun, to one recovered from his Chicago condo during a search. Columbus Police Chief Ed Coxum confirmed in a January press conference, "We have the murder weapon in our possession, and the evidence is overwhelming." Quote, end. McKee was arrested on January 10, 2026, at his Rockford hospital amid his stunned colleagues. He was extradited to Ohio, and he was arraigned on January 23rd on 4 counts of aggravated murder with prior calculation and design, plus 1 count of aggravated burglary. McKee pleaded not guilty, waived bond, and hired powerhouse defense attorney Diane Minash. If McKee is found guilty, he could face life in prison without the possibility of parole. Prosecutor Shayla Favor leads the case, with the next status conference pushed to April 2026, but it could be years before the trial begins. This senseless murder highlights a domestic violence crisis, ignored warnings that cost 2 lives. But the focus remains on justice for the Tepes and protecting their young children. As we end today, the Tepe murders carry a heavy weight. The stolen futures of Spencer and Monique, the innocence of their 1- and 4-year-old children, now navigating a world without their parents. Friends and family ache for justice, echoing in editorials that plead for better protection against stalkers who won't let go. This story isn't just a headline. It's a mirror to the silent suffering in too many homes, reminding us that love can turn lethal without intervention. If you or someone you know is facing domestic abuse, don't wait. Reach out. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233, available 24/7. And if you have any information on this case, please contact Columbus Police Homicide Unit tip line at 614-645-2356. There is still a long road ahead. Our thoughts remain with Monique and Spencer's family, friends, and most of all, their children. Thank you for joining me today on Trending Docket. If this episode moved you, subscribe, comment, and like. I will keep you updated with any new information that comes out as we follow along for justice. Until next time, stay vigilant and stay connected.